Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be teaching you all about the arrays in Java. First of all, let's get started. Let's make a class. We go to src and select new and go to Java class. We'll give this Java class the name Java 10. And inside Java class 10, we'll have our main method, psvm and press tab. Now we have built our Java class and we have given the main method in Java. Let's get started. Well, arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable, instead of declaring separate variables for each value. To declare an array, we must define the variable type with square brackets, like in here. Here we have declared an array. It's a string array with the name cars. This array will have string values and we can modify the string values and do various things inside our array. As I said, arrays are used to store multiple values within a single variable, instead of declaring separated variables for other values. Array is defined as a variable type with square brackets. Now, inside our string cars array, we will have some variables. To do that, we must say cars equals curly braces, and inside we give our values separated by commas. The first car will be Mazda and the second car will be Volvo and the third car will be Toyota and the fourth car will be Lamborghini. And after that we must place a semicolon after the curly braces. Here in arrays, the values start with index 0. So Mazda will be at index 0 and Volvo will be at index 1, Toyota will be at index 2 and Lamborghini will be at index 3. That's how a string car array can be made in Java. Now I'll show you another type of array. We can also make int arrays in Java, where there are many int variables inside one defined int array. So let's get started with this. We'll say int square brackets nums will be equal to curly braces and inside we'll have 10, 20, 30, 45 and 78. This is how a int array looks like in Java. Now I have shown you a string array and an int array. Now it's time to go to the other step in this process. Now let's print some values from our string cars array. To do that, we have to give s out and inside we say cars and inside square brackets we give a number. So the first car is in index 0, so we have to pass 0 as the value to print this number. And similarly, we will have another s out for cars first index and another s out for cars second index and another s out for cars third index. Let's print this out and check our output. What do you think will be the answers for these S outs. Let's check it out. Alright, our values got printed. The car in the 0 index Mazda was printed first. Then the car in the first index 1 printed Volvo. Then the car in the second index Toyota was printed. And lastly, car in the third index Lamborghini was printed. That's how we can print values of an array in Java. Similarly, let's print our numbers of our nums array in our int nums array. To do that, we say sout and we select nums and provide the 0 index to print 10. And similarly, we will have nums 1 and nums 2 and nums 3 and finally nums 5. Like this way we can print out our integer array inside our console. Now let's check the output. Alright, we got 10, 20, 30 and 45 printed. And we got an array index out of bound exception also thrown. Why did this happen? Let's check it out. This happened because we have given a wrong index for our nums array. I forgot to give it 4 and gave it 5. So there's no fifth element in our nums array, so it gave a null pointer exception in Java. Let's change this 5 to 4 and print this again. Now our values got printed. 10, 20, 30, 45 and 78 got printed when we ran it in the console. Now let's see how to change a variable inside an array. For that we'll delete this code and have another code typed. We say cars 2 equals Corolla, and let's print this and check what happens when we print the cars 2 inside our array now. What do you think will happen? Will Toyota get replaced by Corolla or any other thing? Let's check it out. Okay, Corolla got printed. That means Toyota was replaced by Corolla. That's why Corolla got printed as the car's second index. We can change indexes and give new values for our cars array. Let's change this time to cars value 4. What do you think will happen? Will Lamborghini get replaced by Corolla or any other thing? Let's check it out. Oh, we got an array index bound exception. This happened because, let's check it out. Why this happened? Because there is no fourth index, we got a wrong output. That's why we got an array index out of bound exception thrown. There are no fourth element inside our array, so it got wrong when we printed it. We'll give this cars 3 and make this cars 3 and print this out. This time also Corolla got printed. That means Lamborghini was replaced by Corolla. To understand this clearly, let's change this code and see what happens. We'll copy this and we'll paste this after, and let's check the output when we run this code. Okay, we got Lamborghini and Corolla printed. This happened because in the first step, in this SOut, we printed our Lamborghini before changing it to a Corolla. So after changing into a Corolla, when we printed it out, we got the value Corolla printed for our answer. Similarly, this can be done to an int array as well. We'll comment this out and have an int array printed. We say int square brackets nums equals curly braces, and inside we'll have 10, 30, 40, 60 and 70. And after that we'll have a SOut printing nums second index, and we'll change nums second index to 45, and after that we'll have our nums second index printed. What do you think will happen when we run this out? Okay, let's check this out and see the output. We got two values, 40 and 45 printed. That means I was right. When we printed the second index of the nums array, 40 was printed, and after changing it to 45, the second index of the nums array, 45 was printed as the output. That's how the arrays work in Java. Now I'll teach you about the length method in arrays. Well, we'll remove this code and we'll have a SOut and print cars dot length. What do you think will happen? Let's check it out and see the output, and I'll explain later. Yes, 4 got printed. This happened because starting from 0th index, there are 4 values there inside our cars array. The 4 values length was given when we printed the cars.length in our console. That's what happened when we printed cars.length inside our console. Without printing many SOuts with the values, there's a way to print all the values in one loop. Let's check this method. First, let's remove this code. And now I'll have a for loop. In for loop, int I will be equal to 0, and I will be checked if it's lesser than cars.length, and I will be incremented. And inside we'll have a SOut that prints cars ith index. This will print all the values inside the array inside our console. Let's check it out. Alright, we got our Mazda, Volvo, Toyota and Lamborghini printed as a loop inside our console. That's the easiest way to print some values, by putting a loop and printing it out. In previous lessons, I taught you about the for each loop in Java. Now let's see it used inside an array. Let's remove this code and have a for each or an advanced enhanced for loop. Inside for loop, the for loop will have string I colon has, and let's S out I and print our values. This will be the same as using a for loop, using the normal for loop in Java. The enhanced for loop does the same thing in Java. Let's check it out. Okay, our values Mazda, Volvo, Toyota and Lamborghini got printed. It's easy as this. It's very simple to print some values using for loops and enhanced for loops in our application. That's how it is done in Java. Now let's learn something new. First of all, let's remove this code. Now I'll be teaching you about multi-dimensional arrays in Java. Let's have an example for this. I print this out inside our code. Here is a multi-dimensional array in Java. It starts with int and two square brackets, and a name is given like my numbers, and it will be made equal to curly braces, and inside we'll have another array and another array printed separated by a comma. That's how a multi-dimensional array looks in Java. The first array will be the 0th index and the second array will be the first index. And if we have another array printed after this, it will be the third index of this multi-dimensional my numbers array. So let's have a third index. Let's have another array inside our my numbers array. This time it will have 8, 9, and 10. Now this is how multi-dimensional array looks in Java. Let's have a value of the multi-dimensional array printed inside our S out. We will have S out that says my numbers index 0, index 2, and let's print this and check the answer. We got 3 printed. I'll explain this to you. Why 3 got printed. So here the first index 0 will be the first array, and inside that array the element 2 will be 3. 1 will be 0, 2 will be 1, 3 will be 2. So this time we printed 3 because in this my numbers multi-dimensional array is in the 0th indexed array and as the second value inside that array. That's why we got our number 3 printed when we ran this. Now let's have another example to verify if I was right when explaining about this multi-dimensional array. We'll have my numbers, square brackets, index 1, and next another square bracket where there will be the index 3. Let's print this and check our output. Alright, we got array index out of bounds exception. I'll tell you why we got this. This happened because the first indexed array doesn't have a third element. It only has 0, 1, 2 up to 2. That's why this gave an error. Now I'll change this to 2 and let's run this and check the output. Okay, we got 7 printed. As expected, 7 was printed. That means I am right. So here the array's first index is this. It will be index 0 and the second index number 1 will be this, and the element 2 in that first indexed array is 7. That's why we got 7 printed when we ran this out. I hope you got a clear understanding about arrays and multidimensional arrays. Now let's move on to the other part of the lesson. Now let's see how to print a multidimensional array's values using some for loops. I'll have an example for this pasted and I'll explain you after running it out. Alright, in this we have a int myNumbers multidimensional array which has two arrays inside it. The first array is the index 0 and it has 1, 2, 3 and 4. And the second array, which is at index 1, has values 5, 6 and 7. And we have given a for loop which starts with index 0 and checks if I is lesser than the length of the array, and I will be pre-incremented. And inside that array, inside that for loop, we will have another for loop with the value j equals to 0, and j will be checked if the array index I dot length, and j will be pre-incremented. And inside we have an s out print in the myNumbers array index I and array index j. That's what will happen in this multidimensional array. So let's print this and check the output as I told you. Alright, this is how to print a multidimensional array in Java. We printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 and all the elements inside our multidimensional array by doing this. That's how a multidimensional array works in Java. So here we have s-outed our multidimensional arrays ith index and the jth index. That's how we got our answer. Let's see the answer again. The answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. That means the answer printed the two arrays with the index 0 and with the index 1. It printed 1, 2, 3 and 4 in the first array and 5, 6 and 7 in the second array inside our multidimensional array. Well, I hope you got a clear understanding about arrays and multidimensional arrays and looping them inside for loops and enhanced for loops in Java. This is the end for this lesson, and I will be joining with y'all with another lesson another day, and I hope you will be there when I come back to you with another lesson. So this is goodbye and please take care.